What's going on, Nerd Army? Guys, it's time once again for another Flash review. So guys, this is going to be my review of the newest episode of The Flash that's back off its winter premiere. So this one is titled Potential Energy. Now, in this episode, it starts off with Barry having nightmares about Zoom killing Patty. They turn out to be nightmares, and he wakes up screaming in bed and is just terrified. He's just completely destroyed and terrified and just seeing Patty die. Now, this will play out in the end, but ultimately what happens is he keeps having these nightmares. He doesn't want to tell Patty. Iris gets asked by Patty, what's going on? And she kind of suggests you ask him, and he should tell you what's going on. And it was just crazy just to see the progression of Patty and Barry's relationship throughout this episode. And then Patty gets this all-time giddiness to her when Barry invites her to a black tie affair to go see this art piece, which secretly he's just doubling as the Flash so he can go be there when this villain that they're hunting called the Turtle shows up and slows time down. So Barry needs to be there to try to stop him. But ultimately Patty ends up getting kidnapped by the Turtle, and he's getting ready to basically turn her into a permanent statue, slow her body down forever, just like he did with his wife. And he shows his wife in a little glass casket with a nameplate, and he's going to do that same thing to Patty and keep her, because she's the most precious possession to the Flash. Now, the Turtle is fucking crazy, and I'm just excited that they used him. I'm one of the few people that remember him from the comics. The Turtle was definitely a very cool character in the comics, but he was definitely underappreciated. They did a great job in this episode bringing the Turtle to life, and they just made his powers so apparent and so easy to see them. They describe him so well that this character is just fucking crazy and phenomenal and just amazing. You got to see the potential in this guy's ability. He sends out waves that slow you down and basically slow all the kinetic energy you have and channel it kind of into him. So he appears to be fucking fast as hell, and he's just flashing around the damn room. And Patty even asks him in the part of the episode, "Are you faster than the Flash?" And he's like, no, I'm much slower. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? Some other great things that happen in this episode. So ultimately what actually happens is Barry is able to go and do that little super punch where he runs away and then runs back and rushes through. And every time that the Turtle sends out a pulse, Barry just pushes and pushes and pushes through it and just takes little spurts of energy, and then just ultimately fucking super punches his ass against the wall and knocks his ass out. And then they put him down under Star Labs in the containment unit, and he's all trying to use his powers, and Barry's just like, yeah, you're definitely a very, very priceless possession for us and very important to us. Because what they want to do is they want to use his power to stop Zoom. They think that they can't stop him, they could slow his ass down. Now, if Barry could break through this shit, I guarantee Zoom could just jam through this dude's power. So I'm not seeing that as an ultimate final solution, but at the same time, at the end of the episode, Harrison Wells actually breaks into the containment unit, opens it up, has this gun thing, looks like he's going to inject him or something. No, he shoves this shit up into his brain and ultimately looks like killing him and sucks out part of his brain. I don't know if it's the part that controls the power or what, because maybe he's just trying to siphon and make this power his own so he can stop Zoom himself and get his daughter back, get Jessie back. Ultimately, it's just a crazy-ass thing. Now, there is a part in this episode where Wells and Cisco are sitting in the van while they're inside the art gallery, and he does tell them a story of Earth 2 a couple years back that Zoom set up a trap for a bunch of cops and went up there and slaughtered 14 cops, and he pretended to have hostages and everything, so all these cops showed up, and he slaughtered them all, left one alive to tell the tale, and then later on, after he told the tale, came back and killed him as well. So just to show how ruthless this guy is, it's ridiculous. So while this is going on, the prodigal son that showed up, which is Wally West, and showed up kind of looking like he wanted to be part of the family. Well, Joe makes dinner plans after showing him around the precinct, and Wally kind of stands them all up, and Barry and Iris were there, and so Joe's kind of hurt that he stood him up and didn't want to call, and blah, 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 and Iris kind of gets it right away that he's not coming, and Joe's like, well, blah, blah. He's trying to defend him. He really is. So this is kind of like weighing on Joe the whole time in the episode, and you can kind of feel it. I really like that the actor can just pull that off so well that it's weighing on his soul. Like the entire episode, you can really, really feel there's that much anxiety and stuff from Wally, the whole issue about Wally. And it turns out that then you see Wally street racing some badass rides and racing for slips. And it turns out that's the whole reason he came to Central City, is because no one will race him where he's from. So he had to come to Central City, make some extra money, and race people for slips. And he raced this guy for slips, beats him, and he wins his car. So, and then he turns around and Joe's standing right there, like watching him, and he's just like, well, blah, blah, like, I don't really care. He's like, why didn't you show up to dinner? I don't care. I just decided not to make it. So the whole reason he explains to Joe, the whole reason he did is because he's the man of the house and he's got to make money. So he's buying and he's winning these cars just so that he could pay for his mother's treatment. So we all know that Joe's ex-wife is dying. And definitely, so he wants to have his treatment paid for. That's the whole reason he's paying for his mom's treatment. So he's doing it for a good reason. But basically tells Joe that it doesn't like really matter to you. And he's like, well, actually, I'm a cop. This is illegal. So he kind of just makes jokes about, oh, I'm going to try not to run every red light on the way out of town or whatever. And so it's just this whole dynamic that's coming from Joe, and Wally is just going to be a bumpy freaking road. You can already tell. And then at the end of the episode, he's, oh, I forgot my green jacket. Yeah. And Joe's like, I'm not, here you go. I thought it was Barry's. I didn't think it looked like it was his. But then at the same time, Wally's like, if you're waiting for an apology, it's not going to happen. And Joe's like, no, I should be the one apologizing to you. I wasn't there for you. I couldn't be there for you as a father like you deserved. And so you kind of have a little bit of a moment, not really all that much. So Joe says, why don't you just be part of my life, basically, but not let me try. I won't go into super dad, father-son mode. And you just pretend, you stop pretending you want to be my son. And so they sit down, and he's like, is all that food for you? He's like, well, you want some food? And like, he's like, yeah, sure. So he ends up staying, and which is really cool. I mean, Wally's part of the family. Hopefully we get to progress that relationship more. And that's what I really like about The Flash, is that the character progression is so well done in midst of all this amazing action. And in this one, there's another big thing gets dropped. Jay is actually dying. So Jay Garrick, yes, the Flash of Earth 2 is dying. And the only way to save him, Jay said he's already experimented on how to get his speed back. The only way to save him is stop Zoom so he gets his speed back. Otherwise, Jay's going to die. And Caitlin's pissed. Caitlin kind of tells him, like, if you knew you were dying, because she, like, tests his DNA off the champagne glass after the whole turtle almost killing Patty thing happens. And she tests it and finds out he's dying. It's incurable. And he says the only way to stop him is to stop Zoom. And she's like, let's stop him then. And I'm like, oh, shit. She kind of gets pissed, though, because he knows that she lost her husband and he died, supposedly. Yes, I'm doing air quotes right now. But he supposedly died. And she's like, why would you get close to me if you knew I was going to lose you too? You knew what it would do to me. And he basically says, like, we got to stop Zoom. And so she's all for it. Caitlin's all for stopping Zoom, which is awesome. Then we also get to see, like I said, the very end, Wells kills Turtle, steals his powers, but the very end of the episode is the most mind-blowing part. Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, looking just like the first day he went to go kill Barry's mother, definitely walks right into Central City, it looks like. So he just, and he's all, Gideon, where am I? Gideon's all looking around. I'm like, oh, shit. Shit just got real. So I don't know if he's from Earth 2, how he can still exist, because Eddie died unless Eddie didn't die and he got sucked in there and healed himself somehow. Maybe became Cobalt Blue like I always wanted. But as of right now, that's not true. Sorry, guys, that's just speculation on my part. I always said that he would make the perfect Cobalt Blue, and I definitely did a history of Cobalt Blue just to say that Eddie could be him. But definitely, guys, some crazy shit happened this episode, and for the first episode back from the break, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what Arrow does tomorrow, guys, but make sure you stay tuned tomorrow for my review of Arrow, the newest episode, and tell me what you guys thought about my review of The Flash. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments down below, guys. If you like this video, make sure you rate it with that big thumbs up, and as always, guys, if there's ever any videos you'd like to see me do or any shows you'd like to see me review, make sure you put them down in the comments down below, and I will get to those, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. You have been watching Nerdsmerized. Peace out. If you liked the video you just saw, make sure you rate it with that big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you can check out all the other nerdy videos we have just like this one. Also, check out my Patreon account and become a patron if you'd like for access to exclusive content.